really big and it's just huge. The inside has loads of space and it's really nice. I really like it because it's really old.
The church is the oldest building in Bromsgrove. It's probably been here since before historic times. There was a little hill here which overlooks the Spadesbourne and looks down across Worcestershire. It was a strategic time to the earliest people.
The church you can see was built over a period of, say, 400 years. The oldest bit of this church is about 1200 AD. And we don't know what was here before, but it's in Domesday Book, so chances are there was a little Saxon church here. But what you can see starts in about 1200, when the main building, most of what you can see behind me, was actually built. And then over the years, as the congregation grew, as the population of Bromsgrove grew, more space was needed, so aisles were added on both sides. And then because the aisles were added, the church got darker, so the roof was raised to get more light in. And last of all, in about 1400, 13 to 1400, they built the tower. And the tower is the tallest thing in the church. The tower is 200 feet high. And it seems enormous because the church sits on a hill, so there's another 200 foot of tower.
I like the way the church sits on the hill. It's almost organic, the way it grows out of the hill, and you see it. And it has grown out of it as people have built onto it and built it over the centuries. It also seems to be sinking into the hill sometimes when you look at it from certain angles. The gravestones mouldering round it. It belongs to this hill and it belongs to the community.
I grew up in the shadow of the church. We lived next door, and so the church has always been a part of my life as a building and as an integral part of Bromsgrove. And for me, it's an important part of the history of the town, important part of the community of the town. And I think it's really important that we do what we can to keep the church at the heart of our community, both from a building point of view and also from the point of view of keeping people together, keeping people safe and bringing joy into people's lives.
When I saw this church for the first time in 2018, I was amazed by its magnificence and the history of this building. This is in addition to its importance to the people of Bromsgrove. I stood in front of it, closed my eyes and started imagining how people used to come and go to this place hundreds of years ago. What a great and long history straight back through time.
The leaves of the lime trees whisper as I climb the hill under a fan vaulting of branches. Enter a circle of trees that have been here for 4,000 years. Worshippers came, searching the turning world for something sensed but out of reach. Made this a sacred place, seeded the earth with memories of joy and grief.
I've been ringing bells for most of my life. I started when I was about 11 and I'm now 75. Still learning. I started ringing at Bromsgrove in the early 1980s, so I've been ringing here about 40 years. The bells in the tower are good. They're not tonally very nice. They're a right old mixture. The oldest bell we've got is the fifth bell, which is 1701. And there's something very pleasant to think I'm ringing a bell that somebody rang 300 years ago. It just feels very good.
I did this little drawing 25 years ago, and in this drawing I was trying to capture the sense of the way the church towered over Perry Hall, a presiding presence. It's been the centre of the community and so important to us, and that's what I like about it, this feeling of this church which has been so important to generations and generations of people going back to Norman times.
It's important that we support the church through bell ringing. The bells are very audible throughout Bromsgrove, and it just reminds people that there is a Christian church here and that the bells signal when people should come to church.
Then Christians came, built a simple wooden church, climbed the hill to marry, to baptize their babies, to bury their dead, to celebrate and worship, to pray and praise, to worship their God. People still climb the hill to sit under sawing timbers now, bringing their complicated lives, finding something steeped in the stone that helps them. Organ, choir and orchestra fill the church with music. The nave becomes an Easter garden, a harvest festival, a Christmas celebration with candles, carols, and a crib under a tinsel star. I climb the same steep path, bordered with gravestones now. The church stands 4 square in the circle of the trees. Church bells echo in the bowl of the hills. A peregrine nests in the spire.
In the early 19th century, Bromsgrove was a major railway town, and it had big railway works down by the station, and railway engines were actually built and maintained there. And many people come to the church to see these 2 gravestones, which record a tragic accident that happened in November 1840, when 2 of the railway's engineers, young men, were killed by the explosion of an experimental steam engine, a badly designed experimental steam engine that was resting in the yard at Bromsgrove, and they had gone over to look at it, and it blew up, killing both of them. Thomas Scaife and Joseph Rutherford were the two men in question, and they were killed, and it was very tragic. The engines shown on their gravestones is not the engine that blew up. Those are the engines they actually drove, which were rather more reliable. But the gravestones are famous partly because they record a railway accident, but also because of the rather lovely poem on one of them, which compares life to the parts of a railway engine and starts, "My engine now is cold and still, no water does my boiler fill."
Well, the biggest challenge for the building is its age and the fact that an old building needs constant maintenance, constant repair, constant renovations. And so we've got a charity, the Friends of St John's, that are a group of people that are passionate about the building and are keen to see the building remain as an integral part of Bromsgrove, and therefore raise funds to restore and do general maintenance on the building. So the challenge really is keeping the building safe so that people can use it and making it so it's available for modern communities and it has the right facilities within it. The outside of the building, it's made of sandstone, so of course the weather has a big impact. It rains, it dries out, the sand melts away, and so it's really important that we raise the funds that we can to ensure that the building is restored and maintained and available for the community to use.
The congregation hasn't got enough money to keep a church like this standing, and yet everybody wants the church to be here, to be the centrepiece of Bromsgrove, to rise above the houses. So we need all the help we can get. We need grants as well as the generosity of local people, and whether or not the local authority has any money to spare, I don't know, but we welcome their help in all other respects to keep this church standing.
What does the church mean to me? I guess it's somewhere that I can come and meet a God who knows exactly what's in my heart, and I don't have to say anything. I just have a sort of comfort from that. So it's a place of comfort, place to celebrate, place to be sad or worried. And it's also a family of people who we all look out for each other. And there's a sense of community and love in the church.
And if you are ever in the Bromsgrove area, this church is a must to visit. It is about 800 years old with many interesting features.
Did you see the church?
Yes.
How was it?
Good.
What do you think?
Nice.
Stop.